a guy by the name of Terry Harper was a difficult guy too to get by, and he was always holding and clutching and grabbing.
Which team did he?
Montreal.
Montreal,
yeah. So it was tough.
Is it hard to hold the pain? I mean, can you actually say to the coach, "Hey, I'm not injured. I could do it. I could play it"?
Well, for the most part, hockey players are kind of proud guys, and
more on a football player intellect when they say the football players or football hockey.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, but a football player has a week to recuperate. A hockey player has 24 hours, basically, because you play four and a half games a week. But a doctor one time told me, I said, what's the difference between hockey players and basketball players? He says, well, hockey players say, when can I be back when they're injured? How soon am I going to be back? And basketball players say, how long am I going to be out?
Interesting point.
Think about that.
It is. Do you feel hockey has too much violence in the game today? And also, I believe that Suzanne has a question to back that up afterwards. But first, Phil, answer mine.
Well, I think that hockey is not as violent as it used to be. The violence now consists of the sticks.
Slashing.
People hit each other. The guys hit each other with the sticks all the time. It's up high. Years ago, and I blame this all due directly to helmets. Absolutely directly to helmets. Years ago, nobody wore a helmet. I never wore a helmet for 19 years I played. And I'm going to tell you something. No one would hit me on my head or aim for my head intentionally. Because they knew that if they did, they were going to get it back.
Yep.
So we respected one another in that respect. You know what I mean? We really respected one another. If they hit me on the head, I knew it was an accident. And if I hit them, it was an accident. It really was. I didn't ever try to do that. Nowadays, the guys, because they got the helmets on, and it starts with the kids, they don't think they can hurt the other guy. So bango, they hit with the stick, like they go like this across the head. And I'm going to tell you something. That helmet is not made to withstand those things. It's made to stop lacerations and stuff, but not violent cross-checks and stuff like that, that's for sure.
Do you think that management provokes it? I mean, like, maybe there's like a lousy player on the team, a fat guy, or a guy that can't play too well, and he'll say to him, hey, pick on Esposito. He's the best guy on the team.
Craig, you got to understand, it's professional. That word professional means you winning. That's what it takes. Whatever it takes to win that game, you're going to do. If it means intimidating the other guy, you do it. Within the rules of the sport. If you don't live within the rules of the sport, then you get penalized. But it's a professional sport. There's a ton of money involved in this. And it means you got to win. So you do what you have to do to win. I mean, there were many times at a face-off that guys used to say to me, you win the draw, and I'm going to break your ankles. I mean, when I was a kid, 20 years old, somebody told me that the first time. I looked at him like, I wonder if he's serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
he tried.
Speaking of violence, does the fighting in hockey prevent women from attending games?
On the contrary. They love it. There are more women. There are more women at hockey games than men. More women fans because they like the fighting. They like the violence. Years ago, they used to like the guys with no helmets because they could really make their facial expressions, and because you're close. You know, it's not like football. It's like basketball in a sense that you're really close, and you can see the facial expressions and the hair flying in the wind or what happened. Because guys were skating 26, 28 miles an hour. Not me, but the guys. Not me, though. That's for sure. And women love it, though.
Why are they so turned on by that?
I don't know, Suzanne. You tell me. I mean, you tell me. I don't know.
I've been to hockey games.
You've never been to a hockey game?
No.
If you go, I'll bet you any money you get turned on by it, too. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know why. But women, for the most part, why do women like wrestling?
You can see more.
Really? Women love wrestling. They like wrestling more than they like anything. I mean, I could get it. When I was working at the Garden, I could get you any ticket you wanted. Any ticket. But I couldn't get a wrestling ticket. I had to call Vince McMahon if I wanted to get a wrestling
We'll
ticket
have
for
to
it.
talk about the wrestling on another show.
Okay.
That's interesting.
The NHL All-Star Game was just played last weekend. Can you give me your reaction to the game?
I thought it was a terrible hockey game. Absolutely terrible hockey game. There was no checking. It was just freewheeling. The goaltending was awful. I just thought it was a terrible hockey game. It's not what hockey's about. And NBC televised that game. And unfortunately for us, if they ever televise another game, I'll be very surprised, because it was such a bad game. What they should do is the finals, the Stanley Cup finals. Now you're going to see hockey. I mean, hockey is a game that's, you got to be tough.
That's when the best of the best peak.
There's a lot of body
really
checking. That's right. There's a lot of checks going on. There's a lot of shots. I mean, in the All-Star game, it was, oh, don't touch me. I won't touch you. Let me go and play and have a good time.
Isn't that basically the way most of them are? I mean, most of these All-Star games are just for the fans
That's
to enjoy.
exactly right.
And the press wants to go down and see.
I went to 10 All-Star games, Craig, and I played in 10 of them. And I got to tell you one thing. I had more fun at them.
10 All-Star games.
And I had more fun at them because I partied and I had a good time. It was my way of letting off steam, the All-Star game. And then I went on the ice and tried to show my talents, but without getting involved in all this craziness.
Well, from a woman's perspective, why do you think women enjoy events such as the World Series and the Super Bowl?
Specific events like that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
more than the Stanley Cup.
I think
More
because
than the Stanley Cup.
more than the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I think because in America here, baseball and football, is a hell of a lot more popular than hockey. But in Canada, believe me, it's not the World Series and the Super Bowl. It's the Stanley Cup. And probably because their boyfriends, their husbands, whatever, are turned on and want to watch that event. So they get involved. And a lot of, like, women are, I mean, I absolutely adore women. And I absolutely respect them to death. I think they are so so much brighter than us in ways that it's incredible.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
Because you women really know how to manipulate sometimes too, and that's all right. That's all right, because they really know how to organize things in a sense that, let their man do what he has to do, but in the meantime, I'm going to get what I want to have, what I want to do in my life, without him even knowing it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's beautiful. I mean, my wife is maybe the best at it, but she gets it done, and that's fine. And I absolutely respect women to the hilt because of it.
That's great.
Now let's get back to the hard-hitting questions of hockey with the maybe Rangers and a couple of other teams.
Sure, fire.
The Rangers just made a big trade. Tony Granato and Thomas Sandstrom to the Kings for Bernie Nichols. That's 2 for 1. Do you think the Rangers
gave too much?
Gave too much to the... I mean,
you never know
Tony
about
Granato
a trade. Okay, yeah. But you never know about a trade, Craig. When you analyze it, they gave 2 25-year-olds for basically a guy that's going to be 29 very shortly. So they gave up 4 years. They give up the same amount of goals because the 2 of them last year had as many goals as Bernie Nichols had, maybe more. But Nichols is a centerman. Nichols is a big centerman. Nichols is a smart centerman. Nichols is also a good hockey player. On the other hand, Sandstrom has never, ever reached his peak. If he doesn't reach his peak with Gretzky in L.A., then forget it. He might as well go back to Sweden, and play there. Granato, I don't think will ever score 35 or 40 goals again, ever. I think Granato is a 20-goal scorer, and what happened last year was a total surprise to us and a total surprise to Tony. He's a good, solid hockey player.
Or maybe
but he's not a superstar.
Just wants to try just to get around the league.
Well, they check him a lot closer. They hit him and everything else. But Granato is quick, and L.A. wanted quickness.